Hello, and welcome to today's Embodied cooking class. We are going to be making warm lentils with za'atar breadcrumbs and tahini sauce. It's a little bit more of an involved recipe, but I'm going to take you through everything and show you how we apply all the same things that we always do with our simple stuff to make this whole experience really lovely, relaxing, whatever you need it to be, while making something that maybe seems a little bit more elevated or a little bit more challenging than the things that we normally do. It's not going to be challenging. You're going to notice, but there it is. So let's begin with some deep breaths. And let's come back to our samavriti breath. That's the equal breath where we try to make the same on the inhale as the exhale. So let's count up to 5 on the inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause at the peak and exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take you through one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause at the peak. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's do about 5 breaths on our own in that same way. And if you want to do a 5 count, that's wonderful. If you want to do more, you want to do less, find what works best for you, just so long as both are equal. And we're making this sort of hissing sound. We're really slowly sipping the breath and releasing the breath. Okay. Really allowing the breath just to penetrate every bit of our body with its goodness. And that is naturally happening. The breath does go through our whole body. But what I ask for you to do now is notice that if you can. Feel, what does it feel like? What does it sound like? What does it smell like? To notice the way that the breath is our life force, is what allows us to do everything that we do. All right. So let's set our intention for what we want to do here today. And just have your hands at heart center. What is it that you want to bring into the world through your action of cooking, or even just simply watching this video today? Of breathing, learning. Really see it in your mind's eye. All right, now let's bring our hands down, open our eyes, and let's get started. So we are going to begin with the lentils, and that means a bunch of veggies. So we have 3 components. We have the lentils, which are going to cook in a pot back here, which are going to have all kinds of veggies and spices in them. And once those are cooking, we will make the breadcrumbs in a pan, be really simple, and we'll mix up the sauce. And then while it bubbles and boils, we're doing that. Maybe we're going to relax a little bit. This probably won't take all that time. And then when it all comes together, we will top everything. And that's all there is to it. So let's start with some chopping. We have our onion, pepper, and carrot, and then some garlic as well. Splitting the onion down the middle, as I always do. You'll notice I do this the same way every time. So rare for me to cut an onion any differently, cut a pepper, cut a carrot any differently. All these sort of same sizes. There's something actually really comforting about that, right? That is so much of this is just technique. You do it once, you do it twice, you do it 20 times, it's nothing. And that's really where kind of the magic begins, in a way, when you can really let go, when you're no longer having to focus so much on the task of what's in front of you. Then where does your mind go? Ooh, then it gets exciting, right? Because then your mind can start wandering off to all kinds of different things. But we want to bring it back to this. So how can we make this then? How can we begin to notice maybe what can capture our attention within what we're doing? When it's not this sort of intense focus of, oh my gosh, I got to get this done. How do I hold the knife? All of that kind of thing. Once we are finding that it's easier, that we've done this a few times, we know what to do. Then how do we bring ourselves back to really paying attention to what we're doing? Something I've done thousands of times. And I would say for me, and I would recommend for you, that it's the senses. And the pleasure of the senses. These sounds, this feeling, the sharp aroma of the onion. And, the color, the red, the purple, really, the purple and white of the onion. And I know it's like, how do we get ourselves to care about this like every time? Well, that in a way is your adventure. I can only speak to my own and say that it's like so many things that we find pleasurable in life are truly repetitive. This is something, we don't actually need or want novelty to be happy. Things don't have to be different in order for us to enjoy them. So much of the things that we sort of think of as pleasurable, like, say, sitting down to watch a favorite TV show. It involves the same thing over and over again. Same with eating a meal we maybe really enjoy. Connecting with a friend, reading a book. There may be sort of new content, but fundamentally, this is the same kind of experience you're having over and over again. And I think it's just that we don't think of things like this as being pleasurable. Nobody in our culture is sort of talking about the immense pleasures of cutting up a pepper. And so we don't think of that as something to look forward to. But what we can do is basically program ourselves by noticing that we find it pleasurable. And then rather than resisting that and going like, well, no, this is boring. Then we can allow that reality to sort of penetrate us. And then we can choose to come back to it. Not to mention really the magic of it, which is that as we enjoy an activity, our nervous system becomes calmer and calmer and calmer. And that is a good feeling. It is a feeling that is associated with all kinds of great hormonal release. So much good feeling. The deeper relaxed we feel, the more at ease, the more kind of truth and understanding we have about our lives, because we're not thinking in these fearful states. Oh my gosh, what do I have to do? And all this worry about things that are not right in front of us. We are just here cutting up a carrot now, an orange carrot that the earth made for us to have sustenance, well, for all beings, all animals, everything, to be able to use this for us to move through our lives and do and be and connect in just the way we want to. This is just for us. This is where my mind goes as I allow it to concentrate on these tasks. I'd love to hear what runs through your heads, what your experiences of these are. I really do mean it. I think we're all so individual with the way that we experience these types of things. And that's a good thing. All right. So we're going to get some oil happening over here. Okay. A little bit of an issue with my gas at the moment, so I'm going to just wait a moment. There we go. I'm getting some oil in the pan. Not too much, but a decent amount. And we're going to just get everything in all at once. Maybe I'll let this heat up a bit. Normally we kind of wait for a sizzle, but it's okay. Just kind of letting these guys get a bit of a head start, and then I'm going to add the garlic in. I'm going for 3 heads of cloves, not heads. Woo, that would be a lot of garlic. This would be garlic lentils. 3 cloves of garlic, which is plenty of garlic. And I'm adding these a little later because I'm going to chop them a little finer. And I don't want them to get more browned, possibly even get burnt in parts than some of the others. Again, this is just technique that we're going to keep learning. We are learning so much technique about cooking as we just pay attention and relax and take deep breaths. All of this information is becoming embodied within you so that you don't even think about things like this. Just be like, yeah, this is how we do it. I just know this. And we can hear that the sizzling has begun. The cooking has really begun over here. So now that I have that chopped, I'm going to move our camera over here. We're going to have to do a couple of camera moves this round. Maybe not. I'm actually thinking, no, I'm going to do it. Okay. All right, here we are. Here we are, just so you can see. I do want you to be able to see what's happening in the pot. These colors, we're going to add a little salt. That's quite a bit of salt. And in a moment, probably another minute or so, the onion is going to be looking translucent. And at that point, I'm going to add the garlic in. And I need some broth for when I add the lentils. So I'm just going to start boiling my water. I'm just going to mix some bouillon up. Like I use, but they have those tabs or whatever. I use this better than bouillon stuff. It's a great way to do broth. You could also just use water here. It would be fine. It's a really nice way to add just that much more flavor, but it's not essential. So here is my bouillon stuff, and I'm just going to pour hot water into here when it's ready. Just thinking ahead a little bit with something like this is nice. And obviously I've written the recipe out for you so you can kind of have that to guide you. But the very first time doing it, it is always a little bit of like, oh, what should I do? What's the right order? And it may take a little longer the first time. And then the second, third, if this becomes something that you like making more frequently, then you'll have a little dance of how you do all of these parts, and it won't feel as overwhelming. I'm going to add in the garlic. And just give it a little mix around. And then I'm also going to add some cumin seeds and cinnamon. I've got about a teaspoon of cumin seeds. Oh my gosh, it smells good. That just extreme savory smell from the garlic. And then cinnamon, I don't know what I said in the recipe, like half a teaspoon, maybe more. This is what I'm doing today. And now I'm going to mix it. And you definitely want to mix this because you want the cumin seeds and the cinnamon. And I've said this so many times, but I'll keep saying it again. It's a technique that we want to really ground ourselves with here. There are cooking techniques that make things turn out well, but you can learn them and embody them. That's what we're trying to do. So the cinnamon and the cumin, we want it to mix in with the oil in the pan and all the heat so that it just gets in all over everything, and then it will flavor the broth and the lentils, and everything will penetrate with the salt, and it'll just all become one magnificent layered flavor extravaganza. Instead of something where occasionally you're like, oh, I think I got some cinnamon in there, but like where you're just like, yeah, I got it here, I got it there, I got it everywhere, and it's all together. All right, so we have boiling. So 3 cups of water. This is looking, oh, so good. I think I didn't say I had this on a slightly higher, like medium-high heat. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit. I'm going to add in a cup of lentils. I have these lovely French lentils. You could do brown lentils as well. These are they're so pretty. Oh my goodness. They're just so beautiful. It's too bad they lose all this speckled, mottled sort of beautiful bird's egg kind of look to them. But they're so pretty. I'm going to grab a measuring cup just to do this right for you all. Do a cup of lentils. And this is just smelling so sweet from all that cinnamon. Woo! All right, it's about a cup. A little less, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball just a tiny bit more. There we go. All good there. Now I'm just going to mix it around. Not sure this is even necessary, but it makes me feel like I've got the oils and the spices and everything is like going into the lentils before I add the broth. And now the broth. Oh, it's already boiling a little bit because this is such a hot stove, and that was boiling. So, this is actually a great tip. So we don't have to worry about bringing it to a boil. It's already simmering. So now I'm going to turn it down, and I'm going to set this timer for 25 minutes, which is about how long it should take, hopefully, for everything to cook. The lentils mainly. Oh, it's mine. So very good. All right. Okay. Now, and I guess we could talk a little bit about the flavors that I'm using cinnamon and cumin, and then we're doing tahini and lemon and feta. So we've got this sort of Middle East sort of area of impact. A lot of these flavors just go together, and the more experience you have with cooking, the more you'll start to notice these same things. I mean, we have our absolute basics, our onion, garlic, our carrot, our pepper, like these types of things can go in with anything, right? But then the spice combinations that we choose, and then the sort of other flavor additions like a sauce over top or whatever the case may be, those sorts of choices, we do want to think a little bit about what goes with what. And certainly country of origin, sort of cuisine of origin is a really, really wonderful place to start. If you're interested in experimenting, and you'll just start to notice these patterns and things that work together. And also you can start exploring too and discover that there are a lot of things that don't seem like they traditionally go together, which really can go together. You can just think about, the salt, fat, acid, heat. You can think about the sweet, savory, salty sort of zone and sour, and trying to balance those things and just think about, and really tasting and going, could this use more sour? What could I use to create sour? Could I use a lemon, or could I use, some hot sauce? Could I use some vinegar? What else do I have around that could kind of create that experience for me and give it a try? Because it really is, that's all that we're doing as cooks when we are creating something new, or when we're trying something, is we're just trying to make it taste good. And you can do that from your mouth, from your intuition, from what your body actually tells you to do. And in your case, you're not making it for anyone but yourself, right? So, or yourself and your family, but as the case may be. But when a person who is at a restaurant is trying to make it for others, there are these sorts of, there's a lot more to think about. But when it's you, all you have to do is listen to your own inner voice and learn how to hear that. And I know for a lot of us, it's the truth that we get cut off from that, from being able to hear that, or even if we're not actually cut off from it, we don't trust it, what it's saying to us, and go, oh, I should look at the recipe. Oh, I'm not sure. And I think that lack of confidence can really keep us from having great pleasure and really getting to know ourselves better. So I ask all of you to kind of, when that goes, oh, I don't know, go, but what am I hearing? And to begin to just develop the ability to listen and trust that voice. And that can be done also through meditation, and just setting an intention to really, really listen and reconnect to your body, which is so intelligent and already knows how to cook, and knows how to cook for you in particular, knows how to feed your unique body for sure. So with all that being said, I am going to now start on the breadcrumbs, which are very, very easy. I know this seems kind of wild, but I just have this old, very hard pita, and I'm going to use this, and I'm going to just blitz it up. Blitz it up over here. The lid. Ready? It's gonna be loud. flavors. Oh my gosh. It's like ridiculous. So that's more than enough breadcrumbs for this dish. So we'll have leftovers, which is lovely. And I'm going to move this so that you guys can see. I have another pan right here. I'm going to get some oil right in here. A little oil and a little butter just for flavor because breadcrumbs, you know, bread and butter. Come on. It just feels right, you know. I'm going to use this, not super worried about contamination. And then Za'atar. So Za'atar, you can purchase it. It's a spice blend of sumac and thyme and salt and toasted sesame seeds. And it's just really, really nice. And we put it, you know, on pita. We put it on over top of hummus and all kinds of things. It's really, really lovely blend. But you can also make it yourself if you have, of course, all of those things in your spice cabinet, which I happen to because I'm like that, you know. So I make my own Za'atar usually. As you can see, I'm kind of running low, but you can totally buy it, up to you. And again, if you don't keep this around, it's not a big deal if you don't have this. Or you could just do sesame seeds or something in here, would add a nice toasty element. Anything that you do have around from that blend, you know, if you're missing the sumac, I know for a lot of people that's not something they might keep around. That's totally okay. You can still enjoy this. So we've got melted butter I'm going to add in our breadcrumbs. Get it all out. I might have blitzed these a little finer than is totally ideal. That's okay. Getting buttery. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Of course, there is salt in the bread. We just want to be able to really taste it all, you know? And now I'm going to add the Za'atar. Decent amount. I think I have the quantities in the recipe measured at the time. Ooh, smelling it. So we're just going to leave this. And I'm just turning up the heat on here a little bit because I'm noticing there's not a lot of bubbling. And I do want this to stay at a consistent simmer so that it actually cooks through in our time. We do want, as much as I do love spending time, believe it or not, I'm not actually totally impractical. I know we all need to get things on the table. We have limits, we have hunger, we have real time constraints. And so, of course, we want to be mindful of these things as much as possible. Truly mindful, you know. But I just don't believe in rushing when it's not necessary. And I don't believe in bringing excessive rushing into ourselves, you know, making something more complicated than it needs to be, and then having to sort of go at double speed. That's what I'm not about. But efficiency is wonderful. And it's something that we learn over time as we get more skilled at things. As our techniques grow, we become more skilled. And so what I'm looking for here is over a few minutes, everything just turning a light golden brown from that sort of light color that we saw when this started. It's already darkened a little bit. We definitely want to go a couple shades darker though. And there's this incredible aroma that is happening from the Za'atar. I think I'm going to add a little more Za'atar. Boop, 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 boop. Yes, baby. We have more bubbling here, so I'm happy with that. The aromas in here are just so exciting too. And that's also how you know that everything goes together, when all of the aromas are blending in your nose and you're taking it into your whole body and having this full experience. It's like, yeah, these things are going to go together. Everything smells together so well. I mean, it's all the same, right? The smell, the taste, all of it. They're all these layers and components. And if those are going great together, it's all going to taste good. You can trust that. That can even be if you're a little reticent to sort of try something new. That can be a way that you can maybe test your hypothesis. Like, will these things be nice in this together? Like, just smell them in their raw state together, and see if there's a blending that can occur, or if it's a little like, whoa. Getting some darker bits. I usually say, like, it's so great to like kind of leave things, but I am moving this around a bit at this point because I don't want anything to get too dark. But we're getting there. I'm gonna just taste them and see. Yep, salty enough. Za'atar, wonderful. There is salt in the za'atar as well. Oh my gosh, yeah. I would say this is actually good. And I'm going to just leave this here to kind of cool down. And we'll bring it over. And so now I'm going to do this awkward thing where I bring the camera back over here. Bana. Okay, so we're good. And now all we have to do is make the sauce, which comes together so quickly. And there's actually not even many dishes. Actually, I'm surprised. And then actually, you know what? I like to add kale at the end of the lentils, so we'll also chop some kale. And you could add any greens. You know, like maybe at this point, if you've been following along, you can see that I love this lacinato dinosaur kale. It's just a staple for me in my home. So we'll chop a little bit of that in a minute. Look at you guys all with the same sort of pantry basics as me in time. That's how we really start to produce this magic, is we have these things and we're so familiar with them, and we start to be able to sort of put them together in new ways or the same ways, like really consistently. And then maybe once a week, try something new, and we begin to really feel confident in what we're doing. So tahini in a jar, and about a quarter cup. I'm making quite a bit of sauce here, and it lasts really well, and you can use it on anything you like, and I highly recommend you do. It's really nice on something kind of sturdy like this, but this is a great salad dressing too. Let's see, tiny bit more, quarter cup. And then not much, but a bit of maple syrup. Yum. I really like tahini. Lemon juice, and just to make your life a tiny bit easier, even though it seems so awkward, because this is a giant. If you have a small one, good for you. I'm just going to use this to catch the lemon seeds as I squeeze this out. Squeeze out my juice. Woo! Getting it in. And so I think in the recipe I said the juice of 2 lemons, which I think it's It's one of those things you got to kind of see how juicy your lemons are. So we're going to juice 1 whole lemon, mix it all up, taste it, and if we need more lemon juice, we will not be afraid to use it. So this is a nice juicy lemon. Okay. There's only 1 seed. That's kind of funny. And then I like just a little snifter of hot sauce. Not much. It's like you don't even really taste it, but it just makes a difference. It makes everything better. And so now I'm just going to shake it up. Now let's give it a taste. Ooh, it's still very thick. I think we're going to need more lemon. It's so yummy. Ugh, it's so good. It's hilarious how good it is. I'm going to do more lemon though. At least another half. Oh, it just does that thing that lemons do where it activates the acid part of your tongue and just suddenly you're just salivating and it's like the greatest thing ever. As you can see, I would just like to point out, I am using my taste, aroma, my feel, all of my senses, just constantly. And believe it or not, it is really nice. Okay. Even if I didn't get to eat this, which I do, I would have had such a good time doing this. I feel nourished. This one had a little less juice, so okay. Good stuff. Let's move these aside. And just, I'm going to do a tiny bit more hot sauce for myself. The tahini is thicker. You know, it's sesame paste. It's like peanut butter kind of consistency. So we want to mix a lot of that lemon juice. And if you find that you want it to be a little thinner, but you don't want to have more zing, you can add a little water too. Stop. I love this so much. Just really, really good. Oh my God. Such a simple bunch of stuff. And like the level of deliciousness, it's just like coating my mouth with goodness. So that's that. Those are sort of 2 special components. And then I'm going to just set that aside. And I'm going to prep some of the kale. And then I'll chop some scallions and get some feta out so that we can like be extra with what we do on top. But we're basically done with the sort of active part of this. Almost done. And we still have 5 minutes of cooking time for the lentils. We might need a little more than that. They were looking a little behind. I'm gonna use about half of this. Not a ton of greens. It's just like some. Found a little piece of carrot. chef's treat. These are a little wilted. I think I got them maybe a week ago. But that's perfect for something like this where I'm cooking. I'm warming them up anyway. They don't need to be crisp. Thank you all for being with me on this journey. I hope that this brings you even a little bit of the joy that it brings to me. My hope is that this experience of cooking kind of can help fuel you in the rest of your life and make you feel powerful. And capable, because you are. Just checked on lentils. They're looking pretty good. I didn't taste how done they were, but we'll see in a few minutes. Choppity, choppity, choppity. Kale, and then I'm going to chop some scallions. And then if you have, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. I was like, this seems way too, this is not a scallion. This is green garlic that I accidentally grabbed today. Well, how fabulous. Okay, well, I'm only going to do one then. This is different. I can pretend this is a scallion. Green garlic. Awesome. So this is very young garlic, which looks a lot like a scallion, but it has it's much more robust and firm. So you can tell the difference when you actually grab it. It looks sort of more like a leek too, like the edges are a little more flat. Sometimes that happens. There's nothing I can do about it. Our building experiences deliveries all the live long day. I am not in a studio. I am just here at my home with you. Wonderful. And then I also have some, I don't think I showed you, some feta. But again, we'll use that at the end when I plate it. Wonderful. Everything's kind of come together in the time we had. It's amazing when that happens. And I can just put some things away. All right, we're gonna check on these lentil buddies. I think I need to leave them for a few more minutes because we still have quite a lot of liquid. And these are not looking fully cooked. No. Oh, they're good though. And they're not far off. I'm just going to turn the heat up a little bit. Shush. And I'll add in our kale. I think the reason these are taking a little longer to cook is because I added in the hot water and then I immediately lowered the temperature. And it just didn't all get boiling sort of together quickly enough. So we sort of wasted the first few minutes or so, which is no big deal, but just a little bit of an explanation for you all. Don't worry that this is going to take you way, way longer than you expect. It shouldn't. Pretty. I love the way the green kale goes bright, bright green. I'm going to get a plate out and just clean off my work surface a little bit. Oh, I'm sad we didn't get to do a meditation today. I'm not really sad. It's fine. But do you guys like those? I love them. But do let me know if you don't like them. I will not do them as often. But I think there is something, the reality is we're often waiting for things in our recipes, and it's nice to be able to do something with you and really offer something that I think is so constructive to do during that time. That we can spend together. Maybe for you, you might not choose to spend that time meditating. I know the reality is I probably would have myself, but it's an opportunity for me to teach you this skill, which maybe you would use at bedtime or in the morning or on a bus or at a moment when you do have time to meditate. Maybe it won't be a part of the actual cooking practice, but it could be something else that you bring into your life at other times. And since what we're doing is a meditation, it is a focus, it is a being just here with just what we are doing, I think really bringing in these solid ancient techniques of meditation, I hope it's helpful for you all. But again, I'm truly open to let me know if you don't like them. Okay. Ooh, 2 minutes. I guess I can put this in. I'm going to put these in a bowl. What's the best way to do this without hurting myself? Look at these little beauties. Ooh, they smell so good. Okay, I think we have cooked lentils now. Yeah, we do. Yum. normally probably wait a few more minutes sort of until all the liquid had just cooked off or come very close to cooked off. But I'm going to plate this up for us all. It's a little soupy, and I'm just using a slotted spoon here to kind of leave. That's the other thing you could do, is just like, you don't want that. Or you could serve this in a bowl with a little tiny bit of soupiness, and it's great. All good. Okay, so here we go. And just pile this into our plate. Bloop. Really nice. Make a bit of a mess of that. Piled into our plate. Oh, yum. I'm excited. Okay. And now let's doctor this up with some beautiful sauce. Add more. Oh, I won't say add less because seriously, I doubt you would. It's so yummy. And then we're going to do a really nice sprinkling of the breadcrumbs. Just adds that extra crunch and sort of buttery, toasty experience. And then we're going to do the green garlic / scallions, whatever it is that you have. And we'll finish off with some feta. Just a little bit. Some extra salty, a little bit of creamy. Like, wow. There we have it. Just magnificent. I'm going to taste it with you. Oh, so many smells going on here. And I just feel so grateful for Hannah for suggesting, for requesting something like this and inspiring it, and for just the creative process of getting to make this and bring it together to you all. And I feel so grateful for, you know, accidentally buying green garlic and all of the, you know, the people who work at the grocery store and everyone that made it, and the earth. And you can feel it all, even before I take the first bite. So wonderful. Thank you all so much for joining me. Please let me know anything you ever need, want, any feedback. I love you all. See you next time.